Sorry, I was disconnected. Am I with you now?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Again, I have to share the slide. Just wait.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. In this slide, see the term assessment. Assessment, in general, assessment is uh, nothing but to evaluate someone. You are assessing me. I may also assess you. These are also kinds of assessments. But in the income tax law, what is assessment? In the income tax law, assessment is the determination of tax liability of an assessee. Assessment is the determination of tax liability of an assessee. Okay. Uh, so, uh, assessment, who can you বোঝা যাচ্ছে না। ওকে। আচ্ছা, এখন শোনা যাচ্ছে? জি স্যার, এখন শোনা যাচ্ছে। ওকে, আসলে ইন্টারনেট কানেকশনটা আনস্টেবল হয়ে যাচ্ছে। ওকে, সমস্যা হলে সাথে সাথে একটু আমাকে নক করবেন বা আমাকে চ্যাট বক্সে একটু মেসেজ করবেন। ওকে, থ্যাংক ইউ। জি স্যার। So my question was, who can assess the tax liability of an assessee, or who can assess the total income of an assessee? Who is the assessing officer? Anybody can give answer. Who has the power to make assessment? Okay. Just go through section 3. Section 3 of the income tax ordinance, section 3. Section 3 prescribes the income tax. Okay. So income tax authority starts from NBR, National Board of Revenue. Starting from NBR, the lowest authority or bottom line authority is the Inspector of Taxes. So top authority is the NBR and the bottom authority is the Income Tax Inspector. Okay, in between there are many authorities like Commissioner of Taxes, Director General, স্যার আপনার কথা কেটে কেটে আসতে পারে। কেটে আসছে না? ওকে, change. আচ্ছা, হ্যাঁ, আমি ট্রাই করছি আবার, হ্যাঁ। যাচ্ছে?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
থ্যাংক ইউ। স্লাইডটা কি দেখা যাচ্ছে নাকি আবার শেয়ার দিতে হবে?
আবার share দিতে হবে।
ওকে, থ্যাংক ইউ। So, we are discussing about the assessing officer. Who is the assessing officer? Who can assess? Who can make the assessment? According to Section 3 of the Income Tax Ordinance, there are three categories of officers. Three categories. Who can make assessment? Okay, there are three categories of officers. Number one, Deputy Commissioner of Taxes. Deputy Commissioner of Taxes. In short, DCT. DCT. Number two, Assistant Commissioner of Taxes. In short, SCT. Number three, Extra Assistant Commissioner of Taxes. EACT. So, these three categories of officers can make assessment, and these three officers are commonly known as DCT. DCT. You know, the office name of the office is the Office of the Deputy Commissioner of Taxes, where we are going to submit our income tax return and we may seek any kind of tax related service. The name of the office is the Office of the Deputy Commissioner of Taxes. And in that office, who is the head of the office? Head of the office, either Deputy Commissioner of Taxes or Assistant Commissioner of Taxes or Ex-Assistant Commissioner of Taxes. So, in a tax office of the Deputy Commissioner of Taxes, which is also known as the circle, taxes circle office. When you go to the income tax circle office, you can find this office is presided over by an officer who is known as the DCT, but he may be either DCT or SCT or maybe ESCT, but he is the assessing officer. Okay, so if we say who is the assessing officer, Deputy Commissioner of Taxes is the assessing officer. Answer is that the Deputy Commissioner of Taxes is the assessing officer, and Deputy Commissioner of Taxes means the Deputy Commissioner of Taxes himself and also includes Assistant Commissioner of Taxes and Extra Assistant Commissioner of Taxes. Okay, so who can make the assessment? DCT, Deputy Commissioner of Taxes, can make the assessment. Okay, and who is the Deputy Commissioner of Taxes? According to Section 3 of the Income Tax Ordinance 1984, Deputy Commissioner of Taxes means the Deputy Commissioner of Taxes himself and also includes Assistant
Recording in progress.
types of assessment. Then your answer will be there are major two kinds of assessment. These are number one, normal assessment, and number two, universal self-assessment. Okay. Normal assessment and universal self-assessment. Where we can find the legal provisions? You just go to section from 81, section 81 to 94. Section 81 to 94. These are the sections relating to the assessment. Clear? So, if you go through these sections, you will know everything about the assessment, the types of assessment, the procedure of assessment, the after process of assessment, everything you will find in these sections. Section 81 from 81 to 94. Okay. Under these sections, we can find there are many categories of assessment. There are many types of assessment, but all the types of assessment are divided into two categories. All the assessments are divided into two categories. Number one, normal assessment, and number two, universal self-assessment. Clear? Normal assessment and universal self-assessment. Okay. Regarding assessment, we will have another session, then we will discuss in details. Okay? But for now, we have learned that there are two types of there are many categories of assessment, but all the categories of assessments are divided into two types. Number one, normal assessment, and number two, universal self-assessment. And for today, we can highlight on the basic feature of the normal assessment and universal self-assessment. What is normal assessment? Can anybody assist? What is normal assessment? Anybody from your corner? Normal assessment. What is normal assessment? And what is universal self-assessment? You think, just remember our immediate previous discussion. Who can make assessment? DCT, Deputy Commissioner of Taxes, or Assistant Commissioner, or Ex-Assistant Commissioner. They can make the assessment. This is the normal process. This is the normal process of law. Clear? So, when the assessment is made by the DCT or SCT or ESCT, then it is called the normal assessment. Clear? It's very easy. Okay. When the assessment is made by the DCT, ESCT or SCT or ESCT, then it is called the normal assessment. Or in other words, we can say when the assessment is made by the income tax authorities, it is called the normal assessment. Clear? Can anybody share with me, which I have discussed just now? What is normal assessment? Anyone? What is normal assessment?
Normal assessment is basically made by the tax authorities.
Thank you. This is the basic feature. Okay. What is universal self-assessment? From the word self, we can say it easily, when the assessment is made by the assessee himself. When the assessment is made by the assessee himself, it is called the universal self-assessment. Clear? So, in the universal self-assessment, SSC has the power. SSC is making his own assessment. Very easy. Okay. So this is the basic difference between normal and universal self-assessment. In the normal assessment, tax authority is making the assessment, and in the universal self-assessment, taxpayer or SSC himself make the assessment. So the power of assessment is enjoying by the SSC himself in the category of universal self-assessment. Why? This is for the there are lots of harassment issue from the taxpayer corner. There are lots of sure, please.
স্যার ইউনিভার্সাল সেলফ অ্যাসেসমেন্টটা বললেন যে অন দ্য বিহাফ অফ এসএসজি
Yeah.
এটা যদি জি স্যার ডিউ টাইমে যদি মানে মনে করেন ডিউ টাইমে 30 নভেম্বর বা এই টাইমের পরে যদি দেয় সেক্ষেত্রে কি ইউনিভার্সাল সেলফ অ্যাসেসমেন্ট হবে?
হবে, provided that there is a condition, he must take the time formally from the tax authority.
টাইম যদি স্যার না নেয়
টাইম না নিলে আর পারবে না,
তাহলে স্যার
তখন এটা অটোমেটিক নরমাল হয়ে যাবে।
জি স্যার।
ঠিক আছে? So thank you so much for your very relevant question.
সেক্ষেত্রে
In the case of sure.
দেখতে যে অ্যাসেসমেন্টটা তো এসএসজি করলো করে জমা দিল
না না সেক্ষেত্রে অ্যাসেসমেন্টটা এসটিসি করলো না, এটাকে আমরা বলবো যে রিটার্নটা শুধু পূরণ করে তিনি জমা দিলেন, এবং রিটার্নের যে ফ্রন্ট পেজ
জি স্যার।
ওখানে কিন্তু there are two options you can see, normal and universal self. Okay,
জি স্যার।
so as soon as he has missed the train, so he has no right to tick mark on the universal self. He must have to choose the normal, and normal means the assessment to be made by the tax authority. He just he is submitting the information. Okay,
জি স্যার।
then tax authority will issue notice and they will take his hearing and may collect relevant information from the taxpayer. There are two types of notices. There are two types of notice. Number one, notice for hearing, and number two, notice for submitting required documents. There are two types of notice. One is notice for hearing, and another is notice for submission of required document. Normally, these two types of notice are being issued by the tax authority to the taxpayer. So if you normal. If you submit the income tax sure,
নরমাল অ্যাসেসমেন্ট হলে তো অটোমেটিক্যালি নোটিশ প্রোভাইড
আসবে, yeah. But this is not 100% true because Deputy Commissioner of Taxes has the power to make assessment without serving notice also. You just go to section 82. The provision of section 82 is that the DCT, if he satisfies that the return is correct and complete, then he can complete the assessment without issuing any notice. Clear? But normally, when you submit your income tax return under normal scheme, city usually serves notice. This is the usual phenomenon. Okay, and the exception is prescribed in section 82. If DCT finds that the return is correct and complete, but for any reason he submitted the return mentioning normal, in In that case, DCT will assess the tax without serving notice. Okay. So, for the universal self-assessment, the relevant section is, can you say, anybody? What is the section regarding universal self-assessment?
82.
82 double B. 82 BB. 82 double B. Okay. B capital letter. 82 double B. 82 double B is the section relating to universal self-assessment. And you know, this type of assessment is used by the major portion of the taxpayers. So, this is the well-practiced section of the income tax ordinance, section 82 double B, widely practiced, 82 double B. So, we have to go through this section. What is the detailed provision regarding the universal self-assessment? So, in any of our next classes, we will discuss in detail, okay, universal self-assessment. But for the today, just remember some points. For the universal self-assessment, you have to follow some fundamental conditions you have to apply with. Number one, TIN. You have to have 12-digit TIN. Number one condition. Okay. You have to have a 12-digit TIN. That means ETIN. Okay. Condition number two. You have to submit the income tax return on or before the tax day. That means on or before the last date of the submission of return. Okay, so return must be submitted on time. This is the second condition. The first condition is TIN. Second condition is relating to time. You have to submit the return within the time. And if you are not able to submit the return within the time, you have to take time from the DCT. You have to take time. How you can take time? Can anybody tell how we can take time from DCT?
By the applications.
By the application. Where we can find the application? Is it any kind of application or a prescribed format?
Yes, sir. Time extension format.
Yeah. From where we can find it?
From NVR website.
From NBR website. Very good. So, if we go through the NBR website, the menu form, we can find there are many kinds of forms there. And one form is for the time extension form. So, we just download this form, time extension form, and by filling up two copies of form, we have to submit. Then one copy will be returned to you, and you can how much time you can take. How much time maximum?
2 months.
2 months is the power of the DCT. He can give you 2 months time without approval from his higher authority. It is his power to give 2 months time. Another 2 months. You can also take another 2 months and you apply to the DCT, but DCT will take permission from his authority. That means from his joint commissioner or additional commissioner. So, with the approval of the joint commissioner or additional commissioner, DCT can allow you another 2 months. Clear? So, we can take maximum. How much time? 4 months. We can take maximum 4 months time. 2 months by the power of the DCT himself, another 2 months DCT will give you the time with the permission from the Joint Commissioner or Additional Commissioner. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
মানে হচ্ছে স্যার মোট
So,
4 মান্থ
Yeah.
টাইম পাবে।
exactly.
তো এখানে আমার একটা কোশ্চেন ছিল স্যার।
Sure.
স্যার এই যে আমাদের যে স্লাইডটা আছে স্লাইডের মধ্যে লেখা আছে যে স্যার 2 টাইপ অফ অ্যাসেসমেন্ট। কিন্তু স্যার আমি যখন স্যার আমাদের ফার্মে যখন আমি ট্যাক্স রিটার্ন যখন ফিল আপ করলাম তখন স্যার আমি 4টা টাইপ লিখেছিলাম। একটা হচ্ছে স্যার সেলফ, একটা নরমাল, একটা হচ্ছে ইউনিভার্সাল সেলফ, একটা হচ্ছে 82
Proviso.
প্রোভাইসো
Proviso.
স্যার। এটার কারণটা কি একটু ক্লিয়ার বলবেন স্যার?
Yeah. First of all, self. Self is not now in existence. It was in existence until 2008. Okay. So, since 2008, there is no type of self-assessment. It has become universal self-assessment. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So, but in our return form, we can find self also. This is the older form, the old form. Okay. So, in our law, there is no self-assessment now. So, one is omitted. Okay. Now, we have three according to your question. Number one, normal. Number two, universal self. And another is 82 proviso. Okay. 82 proviso. Yeah. This is not, in fact, a category of assessment. This is the, if you see the section 82, you can find that the section prescribes the assessment on the basis of correct return. Assessment on the basis of correct return. Okay. In the section, there are some conditions. There are some conditions. And in the legal term, the word proviso means the condition. Clear? Proviso means the condition. Yeah. So, 82 proviso means the conditions contained in section 82. So, if any taxpayer, any assessee thinks that he, she or it has complied with the conditions of section 82, then he can mention this. This means he is asking the DCT to make the assessment without serving any notice. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is another, I can say, another avenue, how to exercise your provision mentioned in section 82. In fact, and normally, the company taxpayer, you can see it in the company tax return form. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, this provision, in some cases, some companies may follow this just to avoid the notice from the tax authority. Okay. And the conditions, I can say some conditions now. Like number one, you have to have income not less than the income of the previous year. Okay. So, your income will be not less than the income from the previous year. Number one. Second, you cannot claim loss. No loss. Third, you cannot claim refund. Okay. These are some conditions mentioned in section 82. So, if you return, if you think that all these conditions you have fulfilled, you can claim. You return, you are submitting, under Section 82 proviso. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. But there are many categories of assessment, as I say you earlier. From Section 80 to 81, from Section 81, 81 is the provisional assessment. Okay, this is another kind of assessment, provisional assessment. Yeah, sure.
গত বছরে চেয়ে এই বছরে যদি কম হয় ইনকাম হয়
Oh, গত বছর যে if your income is less than the previous year, you can submit your return under universal self, no problem.
সেক্ষেত্রে স্যার 82 রানটা দেওয়া যাবে না
No. 82 under দেওয়া যাবে না, but you can submit under section universal self.
এই ইয়ারে যদি ইনকাম বেশি হয় সেক্ষেত্রে দেওয়া যাবে
রাইট 82 প্রভাইসো মানেই হলো আপনার ইনকাম আগের চেয়ে কম হতে পারবে না। আপনি ইউ ক্যানট ক্লেম এনি রিফান্ড, ইউ ক্যানট ক্লেম এনি লস। ওকে, and if you can fulfill these conditions, you may claim your return is submitted under section 82 proviso. Clear? In that case, you can avoid notice. That means your return is the correct. You say your return is the correct, and DCT also endorse it as correct and complete. Clear? If DCT finds it correct and complete. So, if you claim 82 proviso, you must have to think about these conditions. Clear?
ইউনিভার্সাল সেলফ অ্যাসেসমেন্ট দিলেও তো ঠিক হবে
No. Universal self-assessment, there is no conditions like this. In the universal self-assessment, there are only 3 conditions. I have already talked about 2 conditions. Number 1, ETIN. You have to have ETIN. Number 2, time. You have to submit the return timely. Okay. And the third condition number 3 is you have to pay tax if you have taxable income. If tax is payable, then you have to pay the tax. This is the condition number 3. Clear? So, universal self-assessment, in the case of universal self-assessment, we have to follow 3 conditions. 3 conditions. Just memorize so that you cannot think twice later. Okay? For every kind of SSC, in the case of universal self-assessment, you have to fulfill 3 conditions. Number 1, you have to have a TIN with 12 digit, that means ETIN. Number 2, you have to submit the return within the time. And if you cannot submit the return within the time, then within the time you have to take permission, take time from the city. And number 3, tax to be paid if tax is payable. If tax is payable. So, condition number 3 is not obligatory. If tax is payable, then you have to pay tax. Otherwise not. Okay, clear?
Yes.
I think very easy to understand. Okay, so for the universal self-assessment, only 3 conditions: ETIN, time, and number 3 is not compulsory. 3 is to pay tax if tax is payable. Okay, so you have to submit your income tax return under universal self-assessment even though you have loss, even though you have less income comparing with the last year, even though you are claiming refund, you can submit the return under universal self-assessment. No problem. And after the submission, the tax authority will give you an acknowledgement receipt. An acknowledgement receipt. This acknowledgement receipt is to be treated as the assessment order. And this acknowledgement receipt will be signed by the DCT himself. On his signature, you will get the acknowledgement receipt. And this acknowledgement receipt is the assessment order. That means assessment has been completed. Clear? So these are the basic provisions of income tax law, in fact, and you will find everywhere. This even in your exam, even in your practical life, if you know the basic features of income tax law, you can overcome. You can win. Okay. Okay, then we can move to another term, income. What is income? Just go through section 2 plus 34. Income. Section 2 plus 34. What is income? Any kind of receipt. Any kind of receipt is income. If it is taxable under the provision of Income Tax Ordinance 1984. So, income is primarily, gross income. Primarily, we're considering the gross income. Then, after deducting the expenditure or allowable allowances, we are getting the net income. So first gross income, then net income. And when you get the net income, you just go through the provisions of income tax law, whether it is taxable or not. Because there may be income which is not taxable. Okay. So, if it is not taxable, it is not, it will not come under the total income. It will not come under the taxable income. It is income, but not to pay tax on this income. Okay, so income in our law, income means that taxable income under the various provisions of the income tax law. Okay, income. Can you say anyone how many heads of income in the income tax ordinance? How many heads of income? 7 heads. 7 heads of income. Thank you. There are 7 heads of income. Okay, later on we will discuss. The next terminology is the income year. Income year. In the tax law, you can find the 3 types of year. You can find the word either year or the income year or the assessment year. In the income tax law, you can find 3 types of year, or simply year, or income tax year, or assessment year. Okay. When you see the term simply year, then you have to understand that this year means the financial year. When you see the word simply year, you have to understand that the year means financial year. What is the financial year in Bangladesh context? What is the financial year? Anybody? Yeah, the year is starting from July. Starting from 1st day of July till 30th June next year. So from 1st day of July to 30th June is the financial year in our context. Okay. Now, what is income year? What is income year? The definition is given in clause 35. Clause 35 of section 2. So, have you the income tax law with you? Income tax ordinance? Everyone? Have you the tax ordinance with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if anybody wants to get the copy of the tax law, you just go through the website of Ministry of Law. Ministry of Law, this is the authentic site of our law. Okay, Ministry of Law. So from this site, you can download the law, income tax. Just type income tax ordinance 1984 www.minlaw law Ministry of Law .gov.bd. Okay, so you can download from that site, and you have to have this law with you. Okay, so that when I discuss any provision of law, you if you see the law in your eyes, so it will be easily understandable for you. Okay, so income year, you will go through section 2 clause 35, income year. But what is income year? In our law, the basic feature of the income year, can anybody say what is income year?
যেই বছরে ইনকাম ওই বছরে ইনকাম।
Okay, thank you. Income year is the previous year of the assessment year. We can say like that. The previous year of the assessment year is the income year. So there is another term, assessment year. As for example, you see for the return 2022-23, yeah,
পরের বছর
per person, right? So just think about 2 financial years. Any 2 financial years. The previous financial year is the income year, and the following financial year is the assessment year of that income year. As for example, you see, for the return of 2022-23, you have to consider all relevant information of financial year 21-22. So in that case, 21-22 is the financial year, and 22-23 is the assessment year. Clear? So the previous financial year is the income year, and the current financial year is the assessment year. Thank you. And for detail, you just go through clause 35, section 2. Here you see the assessment year. I've already discussed assessment year. So I can skip. The next term, tax. What is tax? The term tax has been defined in clause 62. Clause 62 of section 2. Tax. You see, tax includes income tax, additional tax, penalty, interest, there is some payable under ITO 1984, Income Tax Ordinance 1984. So, tax includes income tax, additional tax, penalty, interest, and any sum payable under ITO 1984. This is the definition given in the income tax law about tax. What is tax? But in the literature, we can find many definitions of tax. Okay, tax, the common and the easiest definition is that the tax is the compulsory payment. Tax is the compulsory payment of the SSC to the government. So the basic feature of the tax is it is the compulsory payment, not optional. Tax is the compulsory payment. and it is the liability. It is the liability of the taxpayer to the state or to the government. It is a liability. Okay. Uh, so, for your exam purpose, you can see many other definition on tax. In the law, tax has been defined in clause 62. But this is not actually the definition of tax. You know, this definition is only for the purpose of the collection of income tax, the charge of income tax, and nothing else. Okay. For your better understanding, you have to consult with the definition given by the uh, expert. Okay. Definition of tax is important. And another terminology, perquisite. Perquisite is important. Perquisite. And can you say the term perquisite, uh, why it is important for us? Perquisite. You know, for the calculation of salary income, for the calculation of salary income, we have to know the term perquisite. When you are preparing the return of company, you have to have proper knowledge on perquisite, because this term has much implications on the calculation of income of the company and also of the income of the employee. Okay, so the term perquisite in Bengali, we say beton purok, beton purok, uh, beton purok, the allowances given with the salary, perquisite. But in the law, clause 45, clause 45 of section 2 defines the term perquisite. And if we go through this definition, we find I have given here the basic features. Okay, perquisite means any types of payment given by the employer to the employee, excluding these. These are the exclusions: basic salary, festival bonus, incentive bonus, advance salary, leave encashment or leave fare assistance, contribution to recognized provident fund, approved pension fund, approved gratuity fund, and the approved superannuation fund. Okay, except these, except these are the exceptions. Okay, so excluding these elements, the other payment, if any kind of payment received by the employee from the employer, that will come under the term perquisite. As for example, can you give any example of perquisite?
স্যার যে কোনো ধরনের ভাতা, অ্যাকচুয়ালি ট্রান্সপোর্টেশন, বাড়ি ভাড়া,
Provident fund, medical allowance, entertainment allowance. Okay, any kind of allowance, excluding this, is called perquisite. Thank you. Okay, now next day. What is next day? Here you find the basic point. The last date for submission of income tax return. Tax day is the last date for submission of income tax return. This last date is called tax day.
স্যার একটা কোশ্চেন ছিল
Clause 62. Yeah, sure.
রেন্ট ফ্রি অ্যাকোমোডেশন এটা কি স্যার পার কেজি?
Rent free accommodation. Rent free accommodation. This is part of house rent allowance. Yes, per visit. Okay,
জি স্যার, থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার।
thank you. So tax day. Can anybody recall জাতীয় আয়কর দিবস?
30
এটার
নভেম্বর।
কথা মনে আছে কারণ?
30 নভেম্বর।
No, জাতীয় আয়কর দিবস ছিল 15 সেপ্টেম্বর.
আচ্ছা।
It was 15th day of September, which was being observed as the National Income Tax Day since the year 2008. Okay. Another issue from my discussion, I will take exam. Okay, I will take exam on any class. After 2 or 3 sessions, I will take exam. Okay, just MCQ to get feedback from you. Okay, so you carefully follow my discussion. Okay, and if necessary, take notes. Okay, so Income Tax Day, National Income Tax Day, was being initiated in the year 2008. Okay, 2008. In the history of taxation in Bangladesh, for the first time, we observed the National Income Tax Day in the year 2008. Okay, and since then, every year, on 15th day of September, was being observed as the National Income Tax Day. And from the following day, you can remember that income tax fair was being held from the next day. That means from 16th day of September. And we are organized the income tax fair. Okay. From 2009, from the year 2009, income tax fair was organized by the NBR. Okay. For the first 2 years, that means 2009 and 2010, only Dhaka and Chattogram was the venue of income tax fair. Only Dhaka and Chittagong were the venue. But from the third year, that means from 2011, all the divisional headquarters were the venues of the income tax fair. And from the next years, income tax fair was held throughout the country, and it was a very popular event. Have you any experience on income tax fair? আপনারা গিয়েছেন কখনো আয়কর মেলায়?
জি স্যার, জি স্যার।
ফাইন, খুব উৎসব মুখর, তাই না?
জি স্যার।
এবং হিউজ রেসপন্স থাকতো। But for COVID-19 and other reasons, income tax fair is not being held. Perhaps from 2020. Okay, but we see the taxes zone, each and every taxes zone organizes the special taxpayer service week, especially on the last week of the November, to serve, to render a special service for the taxpayers so that they can comfortably submit their income tax return. But National Income Tax Day, which was the 15th day of September is being replaced with the term tax day. Clear? That means previously, which was the National Income Tax Day, this has been replaced with the word tax day. Clear? So tax day is not the National Income Tax Day. It is the last day of submission of return. Nothing else. This is the last day. But National Income Tax Day was an event. And on that day, there are many programs we see throughout the country. Rally, discussion, electronic print media discussion, etc., etc. There are huge programs, lot of programs we saw on the National Income Tax Day. But on the tax day, what we see on the tax day? People are going here and there. People are rushing to move there to submit their income tax return. They are intense, and tax authority is also intense. How to handle this pressure? Okay, so this is not way that we have, in fact, we have lost an event, in fact, which was our National Income Tax Day. In fact, we have lost it. Okay. Do you know it was necessary for our to improve our tax culture? What is your opinion? National Income Tax Day, was it necessary for our tax culture? And our tax GDP ratio is the lowest one in the world. We are the lowest tax GDP ratio. So our contribution, tax contribution, GDP is the lowest. That means we have to do a lot to create a tax culture, to increase our tax GDP ratio, to make up our prestige in the world.
আমরা
So,
প্রতিদিন 30 নভেম্বরই জানিয়ে আসছি স্যার।
yeah, 30 November is the last date of tax return submission. But what is our National Income Tax Day? জাতীয় আয়কর দিবস কোথায় গেল? নেই। And do you think it was necessary for us to have a National Income Tax Day to develop our tax culture? What is your opinion?
যে এখানে একটা প্রবলেম হচ্ছে সবাই ওই লাস্ট ডেটের জন্য বসে থাকে বা 30 নভেম্বর মাসের জন্য বসে থাকে।
Okay, in that case, we can shift the day from 15th day of September to 15th day of November. We can observe it as National Income Tax Day. And from 16th day of November, we can observe the income tax fair. What is your opinion?
30 তারিখে হইলেই ভালো হয়েছে। 30 নভেম্বর।
I think you cannot get the point. What is the necessity of income tax day? It is not the last date of submission return. Last date is another issue. And in the last date, we need not arrange any program, because last date is nothing but the last date to submit my tax return. This is not the day for any celebration. Because on the last day, you have the tense, you have the tension to submit your tax return. No time to hear anything from, because it is easiest for us. No, this is not expectable. Okay. So we have to contribute more and more. Clear? So if I ask you how we can improve our tax culture, how we can improve? Give me some points. How we can improve our tax culture? Anyone? Everyone invited. Give some points. How we can improve our tax culture?
ট্যাক্সের রুলস গুলো যদি একটু সহজভাবে করা হয় তাহলে হচ্ছে সবার জন্য মানে সুবিধা হবে বুঝতে।
একটু একটু এগেন একটু জুড়ে বলবেন, একটু কম শোনা যাচ্ছে।
বলতেছিলাম স্যার ট্যাক্সের রুলস গুলো যদি সবার জন্য সুবিধা করা হয় সাধারণ মানুষজনের জন্য তাহলে মানে সবাই বুঝতে একটু সুবিধা হবে, এতে ওনারা আর কি ইন্সপায়ার্ড হবে ট্যাক্স দিতে আর কি।
So your point is to make the tax law and rule understandable for everyone.
Yes sir.
Is it? Okay, number one point. Very good point. Next.
অ্যাওয়ারনেসটা বেশি বাড়ানো।
Tax awareness. Yeah, increasing tax awareness. Very good point.
ট্যাক্স ফেয়ার হওয়াতে মানুষের মানে অফিসে গেলে যে একটা হ্যাসেল, ওইটা হ্যাসেল
Okay,
ফ্রি।
hassle free. Yeah, hassle free tax environment. Okay, very good point. Very good. Next.
লটাকে আরেকটু স্ট্রিক্ট করা যাতে হচ্ছে যে সবাই মানে ওটা না দিলে যাতে হচ্ছে তাদের কনসিকুয়েন্সটা ভোগ করতে হয় সেই বিষয়ে একটু ভয় পাওয়া আর কি।
Okay.
স্যার অ্যাকনোলেজমেন্ট স্লিপটা মানে স্বাভাবিকভাবে পাওয়া যায়, কিন্তু একটা যদি সার্টিফিকেট আনতে গেলে তো স্যার টাকা লাগে, এই বিষয়টা একটু।
So corruption free environment.
জি স্যার।
I think in our country, people think tax as a burden. So I think we need to make them more aware that tax is also used for our own social development. So it will encourage them more.
Yeah, thank you. Very good point. So, from your discussions, I find two types of points from your side. Number one, tax awareness. To increase the tax awareness, and number two, tax hassle-free environment. Okay. Good environment in the tax offices. So, if we think how we can increase the tax awareness and how we can make sure a hassle-free tax environment. Number one, how we can increase the tax awareness. For the tax awareness, we need to take some initiatives. And for example, income tax, National Income Tax Day. On this day, discussion will be held on income tax, the importance of income tax, how to pay tax. On each and every topic, we can discuss on the print electronic media. We can publish article in the print media. We can arrange seminars, symposiums, uh, anything like that, just to aware the people to pay tax and to give them basic education on income tax. So these are very much important to uh, uh, increase our tax culture, to improve our tax culture. That was happening. That was happening uh, when we started the observation of National Income Tax Day and the income tax fair. That were some examples of like programs. Okay, but now these are missing. There is no income tax day. There is no income tax fair. Our expectation was that it will be improved day by day. But now we see there is no national income tax day. There is no discussion on tax issue. There is no basic tax education program for the people. And I can share my experience when I visited Philippines. Philippines, like our NBR, they have the BIR, Bureau of Internal Revenue, BIR. Okay. In Philippines, BIR has many types of educational program, tax educational program, tax promotional program to make aware the people about tax, to make them understand how to pay tax and why we have to pay tax. Throughout the year, around the year, they are taking so many programs, and they have the tax education program like that. Any citizen, if they want, they can take basic training from BIR, basic training, pre-training. Around the year, they are arranging the training for the people. But in our country, any such program in our country? No. No. Have you found it? Yeah.
ট্যাক্স পড়ালেখাটাও তো স্যার বিজনেস যারা করে তারাই করে
তারাই করে মনে হয় যে এটা তাদেরই কাজ।
সায়েন্স পাবলিক আর আর্টস পাবলিক পড়ে না, কিন্তু বিসিএস দিয়ে আবার তারা ইটিসিটি হচ্ছে।
Right. They have no basic knowledge. They have no even, they know nothing before joining the tax service. They had no knowledge, but they have become one fine morning. They have become the tax officer. And if you see the setup of NBR, National Board of Revenue, who is the chairman of NBR? Secretary. Secretary, Internal Resources Division, under Ministry of Finance. Okay, so Secretary is being appointed as the chairman of NBR. But is there any precondition that he or she must have to have knowledge on taxation, have experience on taxation? No. So one fine morning, you, the secretary, has become the chairman NBR. How?
আর্টসের লোক মানে স্বাস্থ্যমন্ত্রী হচ্ছে স্যার।
So this is happening.
ডাক্তার মন্ত্রী হচ্ছে।
Yeah. So this is our academic discussion. Okay. This is happening. So you are the people to think about this, and you have to bring the change. At least make awareness among the people what is happening. Okay. So We are talking about tax day. Tax day is the last date for submission of income tax return, and this is not the National Income Tax Day, which was being observed previously. Okay, and the next term is total income.
আমাদের আমাদের যে
Yeah.
প্রফেশনাল বই ওইগুলো হচ্ছে 30 টাকা লাগে।
Yes. However, we are the people, our independent country, we are the citizens of this country, so we have to have something. We have to do everything, okay, to make our country the finest one, the beautiful one, not only in terms of words, but in
মানুষের
practice also. Yeah.
মানুষের ভিতরে এরকম কোশ্চেন যে কেন আমি ইনকাম নিজে করতেছি সরকার কি কেন না?
Yes.
এইটা এই যে মানুষের এইটা মানে এই করা
Yeah.
যে বোঝানো উচিত
Yes. And this is the obligation of. Yeah.
আপনি এই দেশে মানে চলতেছি ফিরতেছি ফ্রি ভাবে
Exactly.
চলতেছি কেউ ডিস্টার্ব করতেছে না
Yeah.
রাস্তায়
Have to. And you have to pay tax for yourself. You have to pay tax for the civilization. You have to pay tax for the country. You have to pay tax for the people at large.
নেক্সট জেনারেশন
So this is the message which we have to make them understand. And this is the obligation of NBR. Because NBR is entrusted to do each and every work on taxation. But if they do, well, we will get much more good result. Okay.
Sir,
So now,
was
Yeah.
coronavirus the only reason why we stopped celebrating tax fair?
okay, for COVID-19, we can understand there was problem to arrange gathering like fair. But you see, trade fair, international trade fair is happening, book fair is happening, many types of fairs are happening. So, to at least now, COVID situation is not like that. Now we are very much a normal situation, under normal situation. So, if we have the commitment to do the best for our people, we can do the best. For this year at least, we cannot say there is COVID situation because you see, international trade fair is happening. But here is
So
the-
there is a still chance that this will continue anytime soon, as we still need to increase the awareness.
Yeah. Not unlikely. But my point is that as the civil servant, I am committed to do the best for the people. Okay, I am the public servant. So my commitment must be to do something best for the people. Okay, if I want to do, I can do. I believe it. I can make any types of arrangement to do something good for the people if I have the commitment. Okay, we need such type of commitment in fact. But in our context, you see, the officers are boss. You cannot find them as the servant. You find them as the boss. But in my experience, which I was talking you, in Philippines, in each and every tax office, there is a slogan. I saw there is a slogan. Taxpayer is our boss. Taxpayer is our boss. Not the DCT is the boss.
আমাদের
In
দেশে তো
each
স্যার
and every
ফুলি বিপরীত আর কি স্যার
yeah, totally reverse. Totally reverse. Not only tax office, in each and every where you can find the reverse scenario. The people has become the servant and the servant has become the boss. So we have to do a lot. You are the youngest people, you have to think and you can do. I believe you can do better for the country. Okay.
So one question.
So for
স্যার আমাদের গ্রাম এরিয়াগুলোতে অনেক মানুষ আছেন যাদের হচ্ছে ট্যাক্সেবল ইনকাম আছে,
Yeah.
বাট তাদেরকে তারা জানেন না যে তাদের ট্যাক্সেবল ইনকাম আছে,
Yes.
তাদের ট্যাক্স দিতে
yes,
হবে।
yes.
এটার জন্য
yes,
কি
so-
কোনো ইনিশিয়েটিভ নেওয়া হচ্ছে কিনা বা ভবিষ্যতে নেওয়া হবে?
Uh, in the present context, I can say there is no such type of formal program. But in the law, there is power given to the tax authority. They can make survey to any place, to anybody, to anywhere, to find out the new taxpayers. They have the power to make survey, but I think they are not doing it very well. If they could do it, then many people can come under the tax net. Okay, but for this, we have to create the awareness, and we have to give a message to the people that you people, you have the taxable income. If you do not pay tax, you will be in trouble. And if you give tax, you will be benefited. If you can give such type of message to them, and if you can ensure them that there will be no hassle, there will be no corruption, no torture upon you, then I believe more and more people will come under the tax net. Okay, so the tax authority, they have a lot to do. Okay, there are many people which are not under the tax net, and many people are not willing to come under tax net for the question of harassment. So we have to develop our tax culture. We have to assure them that you will not be harassed. But if you're not giving your tax, then you will be in trouble. If we can give them this message, I think our tax net will be much wider, much wider. We have the potentials. Okay. So we have to do a lot. But for everything, we have to have honesty, dignity, skill, and patriotism. Clear? So, no discussion on this issue. Our next and last terminal is the total income. Total income, you know, this term is very much important in the tax law. Total income means the total taxable income. Total taxable income. Okay. In clause 65 of section 2, you can find this term and the definition of the term. The basic feature is the total income means the total taxable income. If you have income, so you first you get the gross income, and then you deduct your allowable expenditure, and you will get the net income, and this net income is known as total income. Okay, and if you have more than one head, as you know, there are 7 heads of income. So if you have more than one head, then the summation of every head net income, the net income of every head, the summation of every head will be the total income. As for example, if you have the salary income, suppose net income is 10 lakh taka, and if you have the house property income, suppose net income is 3 lakh taka, so your total income will be 10 plus 3, 13 lakh, and tax will be calculated on 13 lakh. Tax is always being calculated on the total income. Clear? So total income is very much important in the tax context. Total income means the total taxable income. Total taxable income. Okay. So for today, I can conclude.
স্যার
And
একটা
this,
question.
yeah, sure, please.
স্যার, আমাদের দেশে যে মানে ঢাকা শহরে বিশেষ করে যে বাড়িওয়ালারা আছে,
হ্যাঁ।
এরা অধিকাংশ তো মানে চাকরিজীবীরা তো যে কোনো কারণে ধরা, বাড়িওয়ালাদের তো ধরার কোনো অপশন নাই।
Yes. এটা চাইলেই ধরা যায়। ধরা কোনো সহজ মানে কঠিন কাজ না, একদম সোজা কাজ। আমরা আজকে যদি সিটি কর্পোরেশনকে বলে দেই, আইনের মধ্যে যদি বলে দেই যে প্রত্যেকটা হোল্ডিং এর টিআইএন থাকতে হবে, প্রতিটা হোল্ডিং এর, কারণ এক্স্যাক্টলি, কারণ হোল্ডিং নাম্বারটা বরাদ্দ দিচ্ছে সিটি কর্পোরেশন। জাস্ট আইনের মধ্যে কোথায় চেঞ্জটা আনতে হবে, সেকশন 184A, সেকশন 184A তে একটা প্রভিশন দিয়ে দিলেই হবে, each and every holding number will have to a TIN and this must have to be displayed, display থাকতে হবে। তখন ধরে ধরে বোঝা যাবে যে ট্যাক্স ফাইল আছে না নাই, নাই কি আছে, তখন প্রতিবেশী বলে দিবে যে ট্যাক্স ফাইল নাই ভাই এসে করেন। ঠিক আছে? এটা আমাদের একটা আইনের মধ্যে পরিবর্তন আনতে হবে, পাশাপাশি একটা সোশ্যাল একটা মুভমেন্ট একটা তৈরি করতে হবে কিন্তু আমাদের।
জি স্যার।
ঠিক আছে?
স্যার এমনি তো বাংলাদেশের এই আইনের ফাঁক ফোকর অনেক বেশি ইনকাম ট্যাক্সের ক্ষেত্রে।
আইনের ফাঁক ফোকর আছে, আইনের মধ্যে যা আছে সেগুলো আবার ঠিকভাবে প্রয়োগ করে না।
জি স্যার।
হ্যাঁ, প্রয়োগ করে। ঠিক আছে? তো সেগুলো দেখাতে
কিন্তু আইন দুর্বল।
শুনেন আমি বলি আপনাকে, এখন এগুলো থাকবে, এগুলো থাকবে। হ্যাঁ,
একটা কোশ্চেন স্যার,
হ্যাঁ।
মানে ওয়ার্ল্ড ওয়াইড ক্যানন যে থিওরি দিছে স্যার, ওইটা কিন্তু
হ্যাঁ,
দেশে কি হয়?
কারণ অফ ট্যাক্সেশন যেটা অ্যাডাম স্মিথ দিয়েছেন এবং পরবর্তীকালে আরো সেটাতে যুক্ত হয়েছে, সর্বমোট 9টা কানুন আছে। হ্যাঁ, 9টা কানুনের মধ্যে আমাদের দেশে আমাদের মতো দেশে আসলে সবগুলা কানুন ঠিকভাবে আমরা ইউজ করছি না, করতে পারছি না। করলে একটা গুড ট্যাক্স কালচার কিন্তু সেভাবে তৈরি হচ্ছে।
জি স্যার, আকবরের টাইমে কিন্তু আকবর ওই কানুনের থিওরিটাই বেশি অ্যাপ্লাই করে।
একদম একদম একদম। তো আচ্ছা, আপনাদের যদি বই আপনারা সংগ্রহ করতে চান, আমার কিন্তু ইনকাম ট্যাক্স ল অফ বাংলাদেশ এটা বই আছে, ইনকাম ট্যাক্স ল অফ বাংলাদেশ, এটা রকমারিতে সার্চ দিলে পাওয়া যাবে। আর কেউ যদি এমনিতে সংগ্রহ করতে চান তাহলে আমি আমার প্রকাশকের নাম্বারটা দিয়ে রাখি। হ্যাঁ, 495। আচ্ছা, আপনারা একটা মেসেজটাকে সেন্ড করি। মেসেজটা দেখেছেন সবাই?
জি
ওকে। তো যদি বই আপনারা সংগ্রহ করতে চান, আইসিএবি এর কথা বললে আমি বলে রাখবো যাতে করে স্পেশাল ডিসকাউন্টের জন্য আপনাদেরকে দেয়। ঠিক আছে? তো এই হলো আজকের মতো আমাদের ক্লাস। যদি কারোর আর কোনো প্রশ্ন কি আছে? আচ্ছা,
ডিসকাউন্টের পরে কত হবে স্যার প্রাইসটা?
ডিসকাউন্টের পরে এটা তো আসলে 3টা খন্ড একসঙ্গে, আর সেটা আপনার আমার ধারণা এমনিতে টোটাল বুক প্রিন্টেড ভ্যালু বোধহয় কত 2400 না কত টাকা এরকম। তো তাতে করে 50% যদি বাদ দেয় 1200, আমি তাদেরকে বলতে পারবো যে একদম মানে কমে, একদম প্রিন্টিং কস্ট যেটা তার সাথে অ্যাড করে কিছু অল্প একটু করে যেন নেওয়া হয়, ধরেন 700-800 এরকম হয়তো পড়তে পারে। হ্যাঁ,
জি জি,
ঠিক আছে? বা আমার কথা বলবেন, এটা আবার অন্য কোথাও যেন রেফার না করে, আমি বলবো আমার স্টুডেন্টদের জন্য। এই ঠিক আছে? তো থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ, ভালো থাকবেন। আর আপনাদের তারপরে কোনো জিজ্ঞাসা বা জানার কিছু থাকলে আমাকে মেইল করবেন। আমার নাম্বার কি আছে সবার কাছে? প্রয়োজনে আমাকে হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে আমাকে নক করতে পারেন, 5001, আমি নাম্বারটা দিয়ে রাখলাম। ইয়েস,
বলেন। এই টু ডাবল বিতে কোম্পানির ক্ষেত্রে যদি মানে প্রফিটটা হয় সেক্ষেত্রে কি 20% এর বেশি হইতে হবে, মানে
না না না
Initial
না 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 কোনো বাধ্যবাধকতা নাই, ঠিক আছে, ক্লিয়ার?
এইখানে
হ্যাঁ বলেন।
মানে আমাদের যে ম্যানুয়ালে বলতেছে যে মানে কন্ডিশনস আর দ্বিতীয় কন্ডিশন বলছে less than 20% of initial capital.
না, ও ইনিশিয়াল ক্যাপিটালের বিষয়।
জি স্যার,
ইনিশিয়াল ক্যাপিটাল,
জি স্যার,
আচ্ছা ইনিশিয়াল ক্যাপিটালের বিষয়টা ভিন্ন বিষয়। হ্যাঁ, ইনিশিয়াল ক্যাপিটাল হচ্ছে একজন নতুন করদাতা যাদের বিজনেস অথবা প্রফেশনাল ইনকাম আছে,
জি
তারা প্রথম বৎসর তারা মূলধনের একটা সুবিধা নিতে পারবে যদি মূলধনের 25% ইনকাম ডিক্লেয়ার করে। মূলধনের 25% যদি ইনকাম ডিক্লেয়ার করে, তাহলে সেই মূলধন নিয়ে কোনো প্রশ্ন করা হবে না, ঠিক আছে?
জি স্যার।
থ্যাংক ইউ ট্যাক্সের বিষয়ে যে কোনো ধরনের কোয়েরি আমার সাথে আপনারা শেয়ার করতে পারেন, এনি কাইন্ড অফ ইস্যু, ঠিক আছে? আমি চাই আপনারা ট্যাক্সের একেবারে সবাই মাস্টার হয়ে ওঠেন সবাই, ওকে? তো থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ, ভালো থাকবেন, গুড নাইট।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার।